Passive. Unlike English, the Indonesian passive voice discriminates between intentional and non-intentional action. Die marks the passive verb in intentional context, whereas or its informal counterparts ke'an replaces die in non-intentional contexts. Example 1, petir menyambar Sullivan, lightning struck Sullivan, is not converted to die passive, Sullivan disambar petir, but passive, because lightning is not intentional. Sullivan sambar ole petir. Sullivan was struck by lightning. In example 1b, saya bangun ole bau mulut busuk Komodo. I was awakened by the Komodo dragon's rotting breath. The breath is not intentional. Verbs are derived from die verbs. They use the Burr spelling rules. For example, here are the affix cascades for terkena, stricken, and rangkai, strung together. So, kena, to hit a target, is converted in the triage of the affix system to the transitive active verb mengena, to hit a target, which then can be converted to the die passive verb dikena, shot by someone, or terkena, stricken by something. Verbs have 4 classes. Number 1, accidental verbs. These are the raison d'etre of passive The subject patient is acted on by an explicit or implicit agent in non-intentional contexts. Again, example 1, saya bangun oleh bau mulut busuk Komodo. I was awakened by the Komodo dragon's rotting breath. Accidental verbs show up all the time in the context of reciprocal adjective pairs. For example, menjengkelkan and terjengkel. Wisatawan itu menjengkelkan Komodo itu. The tourist was annoying to the Komodo dragon, or Komodo itu terjengkel oleh wisatawan itu. The Komodo dragon was annoyed by the tourist accidentally. Wisatawan itu menarik Komodo itu. The tourist was interesting to the Komodo dragon. Turns into Komodo itu tertarik oleh wisatawan. The Komodo dragon was interested in the tourist. Number 2, abilitative verbs. Abilitative verbs relate to ability, such as dengar, audible, jengkau, affordable. They have 2 quirks. In positive contexts, they are often optionally combined with the redundant dapat, can. Example 2a, jeritan korban Komodo dapat terdengar dari jauh. The Komodo dragon victim's screams could be heard from afar. In negative contexts, abilitative verbs usually mean cannot be performed and are interchangeable with the pattern tidak bisa plus die verb. Example 2b, Komodo tidak terjinakkan oleh orang asing. Komodo dragons cannot be tamed by foreigners could be alternatively expressed as Komodo tidak bisa dijanakan oleh orang asing. Number 3, reptile brain verbs, or involuntary verbs. Reptile brain verbs is my name for passive verbs that combine with a noun base or duplicated noun base to express semi-involuntary actions. Example 3a, tertawa means to laugh. Senyum, to smile. Example 3b, enga, to pant, or bahak, to roar with laughter. By contrast to Indonesian, the English counterparts of passive reptile-brained verbs are usually active verbs. Relatedly, some semi-involuntary actions are expressed by active verbs or mung verbs. Example 3C, berserdawa, to burp. Example 3D, menguap, to yawn. Here are some comparative examples in case the learner wants to take a crack at figuring out how Indonesian categorizes semi-involuntary actions between reptile-brained verbs and mung, and bases. Number 4, stative verbs. Although stative verbs are derived from diverbs, they do not have agents because they express states. As a result, stative verbs strip off all of the suffixes of the corresponding diverbs. Example 4, passive sentence, mukanya diolesi dengan darah oleh Moses. His face was smeared with blood by Moses. Turns into mukanya teroles dengan darah. His face was smeared with blood. Diolesi turns into teroles. Although stative verbs cannot take agents, the three other classes of verbs can. They use agents in the same way as diverbs, except for two quirks. Ole is mandatory, probably for clarity. The agent can be a first-person or second-person pronoun. For example, mukamu diolesi dengan darah oleh saya, your face was smeared with blood by me, is problematic because the agent is first person. This sentence is preferably reworked in mock passive as mukanmu ku olesi dengan darah. Your face I smeared with blood. By contrast, mukamu teroles dengan darah oleh saya. Your face was accidentally smeared with blood by me is perfectly okay. Also has uses outside of passive contexts. Here are some examples. Superlatives. Adjectives can be converted to superlatives by combining with either or paling. Example 1a, buas or paling buas, the fiercest. Dari and di are used for scope. In example 1b, ini Komodo buas di Pulau Komodo. This is the fiercest Komodo dragon on Komodo Island. Ordinal ke or nomor plus a number are used for ranking. In example 1c, ini Komodo buas kedua. This is the second most fierce Komodo dragon. Can also be expressed as ini Komodo buas nomor 2. If ordinal ke is used, then it can alternatively go before the superlative, and the superlative can optionally be modified with yang. Example 1b, ini Komodo kedua yang paling buas. This is the second most fierce Komodo dragon. This use of yang to organize a superlative and its ranking is an exception to the general rule that yang cannot be used with the superlative phrase. In example 1e, Komodo yang paling buas, two-word phrase, paling buas, is not acceptable. Instead, you say Komodo paling buas, the fiercest Komodo dragon. Nouns. Makes a small number of law-related nouns such as tersangka, a suspect, or terdakwa, a defendant. And utility words. Makes many useful words, including as a digression, here's an inventory for uses of ada. To exist, example 1, hantu ada, ghosts exist. There is, example 2, tidak ada hantu di rumah. There are no ghosts in the house. Located in this case, ada is optional and can be replaced with berada or terdapat. Example 3, Komodo putriku tidak di kandangnya. My daughter's Komodo dragon is not in its cage. Could be alternatively expressed as Komodo putriku tidak berada di kandangnya. Some are. Example 4. Ada yang besar, ada yang kecil. Some are big, some are small. Ke passive, ke unpassive. The register, or Bahasa Batavia, is my name for a slangy register that's used in informal contexts such as internet vernacular. It's described in the presentation about grammatical registers. In Bahasa Batavia, the Javanese affix ke replaces the ter of accidental ter verbs. Example 1a, terbangun, to be awakened, becomes kebangun. Similarly, kean can replace the ter of abilitative ter verbs. Example 1b, terlihat, kelihatan, visible, and their meanings can be extended by the further addition of nya. So terlihat, kelihatan can become kelihatnya. Visible turns into it looks like. Ke-passive, ke-unpassive generally retain not only ter-passive's non-intentional overtones, but also the grammatical wrinkles that distinguish ter-passive from dipassive, such as the mandatory use of ole with explicit agents. 1d, saya terbangun oleh bau mulut busuk Komodo. I was awakened by the Komodo dragon's rotten breath. In kean form is saya kebangun oleh bau mulut busuk Komodo. Kean also have uses outside of passive contexts. Here are some examples. Ke-ordinals and collective numbers. Ke combines with numbers to make ordinals when put after a noun. Example 2a, Komodo kelima, the fifth Komodo dragon, or collective numbers when put in front of a noun. And 2b, kelima Komodo, the 5 Komodo dragons. Nominalization. As described in the presentation about nominalization, kean can nominalize intransitive verbs and adjectives. Example 3a, lahir, to be born, turns into kelahiran, birth. Example 3b, kedalaman sungai, the depth of the river, can become dalamnya sungai. Similarly, quantitative adjectives can be nominalized with kean or nya if there is a corresponding third-person noun. Excessiveness, slightly. Adjectives can combine with kean or the more formal terlalu to express excessiveness. Example 4a, kemahalan, too expensive, terlalu mahal. Nouns can also combine with kean to express excessiveness. Example 4b, malam becomes kemalaman, too late at night. By contrast, the pattern ke, duplicated adjective, an, expresses slightly. In example 4c, kegilaan means too crazy, but kegilaan means slightly crazy. Similarly, ke, duplicated noun plus an, expresses ish for certain nouns. 4d, seorang wanita yang kelaki-lakian, a mannish woman. Adversative kean. Kean also converts passive verbs to passive-like adversative kean verbs that emphasize that the subject is in shitty circumstances. Adversative kean comes in so handy that it's used for intransitive verbs, transitive verbs, and nouns and adjectives. In example 1a, you could say, Komodo saya hilang, saya menderita karena itu. My Komodo dragon disappeared. I suffered because of this. or use adversative kean. Saya kehilangan Komodo. I am the one who suffered the loss of my Komodo dragon. Example 1b, petir menyebar Sullivan. Istrinya menderita karena itu. Lightning struck Sullivan. His wife suffered because of this. First becomes Sullivan tersambar oleh petir. Istrinya menderita karena itu. Sullivan was struck by lightning. His wife suffered because of this. And finally, in the adversative kean form, istrinya kesambaran Sullivan oleh petir. His wife is the one who suffered the striking of Sullivan by lightning. Example 1c, Komodo saya kehujanan. My Komodo dragon is the one who suffered getting caught in the rain, or my Komodo dragon got caught in the rain. Example 1d, Komodo saya kelaparan. My Komodo dragon is the one that is suffering starvation, or my Komodo dragon is starving. Adversative kean has a uniquely up sentence structure. Here are two examples. The example above starts with two active sentences, an active intransitive sentence, Komodoku hilang, my Komodo dragon disappeared, and a sentence for the reaction of the effective third party. Jadi saya menderita. I suffered because of this. Adversative kean combines the two sentences to make saya kehilangan Komodoku. I suffered the disappearance of my Komodo dragon. The example above also starts with two sentences, an active transitive sentence for the event, petir menyambar Sullivan, lightning struck Sullivan, and a sentence for the reaction of the affected third party, jadi istrinya menderita. His wife suffered because of this. Adversative kean then combines the two sentences to make istrinya kesambaran Sullivan oleh petir. His wife suffered a strike of Sullivan by lightning. The posture of these sentences is passive-like, but a more helpful way to think about aversive kean is that it is not doing something like using kean to replace the ter of a passive ter verb, but instead using kean to nominalize the clause for the event to create a verbish noun. Thus, in the examples above, Komodoku hilangan, my Komodo dragon disappeared, is converted into the verbish noun kehilangan Komodoku, the disappearance of my Komodo dragon. And petir menyebar Sullivan, lightning struck Sullivan, is converted into the verbish noun kesambaran Sullivan oleh petir, the striking of Sullivan by lightning. The adversative kean sentence is then constructed as an equative sentence that implies suffering by linking the affected third party as a topic-like subject to the verbish noun as its predicate. Thus, saya kehilangan Komodoku would be literally translated as I am the one who suffered the disappearance of my Komodo dragon. And istrinya kesambaran Sullivan oleh petir would be literally translated as his wife was the one who suffered the striking of Sullivan by lightning. Perhaps an even more helpful way to think about adversative kean is that it is modeled after possessor-topic common sentences, where the possessor is the topic and an inherent possession is the patient of a passive verb. In example 2, kaki pria itu dimakan oleh Komodo, an active sentence. That guy's foot was eaten by a Komodo dragon. Can be turned into pria itu kakinya dimakan oleh Komodo. Here's a topic comment sentence. As for that guy, his foot was eaten by a Komodo dragon. Finally, the kean adversative sentence, pria itu dimakan kakinya oleh Komodo. As for that guy, his foot was eaten by a Komodo dragon. The patterns are the same. As described in the presentation about sentences, the only differences are that possessor-topic comment sentences can only be used with patients that are in inherent possession of the topic, such as a body part, and they use a passive diverb instead of the adversative ke-an verb. Adversative ke-an is one of the few sentence structures in Indonesian that does not have a similar English counterpart. By contrast, Japanese not only shares Indonesian's aversion to casting the speaker as a passive agent, but also even has an adversative passive form, mewaku no ukemi, that is analogous to adversative ke-an.